Miami. They need, they need these division wins. Culturally, as an organization, like they've just been getting pummeled up and down the AFC East. You got to change that. Before we wrap, I'm going to hit a couple of random nuggets that are top of my mind that we don't always get to talk about enough. These are just random ones. One, I think Tyler Conklin has been pretty damn good this year. I know everyone didn't love him in year one, but he's winning.
He'll be good with Rodgers.
Catches. Yeah, he'll be good with Rodgers, and he's a pretty good tight end. Not great, not awesome, but he's fine. And I think he's been pretty good this year and better than last year. That's been encouraging to see. Two, I can't believe we still have to talk about this, but just pay Bryce Huff. It's not, you have the money to do it. Spread the money out over a couple of years. We had Jason OTC on. They have the money to do it. It helps their cap situation for next year. Don't mess around with great players at premier positions. Guy's going to get double-digit sacks playing 43% of the snaps. Keep him around, for God's sakes. Third, we talk about him actually a decent amount, but Michael Carter, the real Michael Carter one, is one of the best slot cornerbacks in the NFL. And it's been great to watch him this season. He's not going to get as much hype as Sauce and Reed, but such a key piece of this defense, which has been really good. And last but not least, two guys. Well, one, let's pat ourselves on the back. We said Quentin Jefferson was going to be really good in this defense and have 6 sacks. I think he's already over 6 sacks now. Might end up with 7 or 8 this year. Q Jeff having the career year, and Solomon Thomas having a career renaissance year in this defense has just been good all season. So credit to the Jets defensive staff getting career years out of Bryce Huff, Jermaine Johnson, Quentin Jefferson, Solomon Thomas, Quincy Williams, of course, getting something out of Ashton Davis. Dan talked about this player development a bit on Buck the Trend, but a lot of positive stuff there with some Conklin sprinkled in at the top. Any other random Jet nuggets that are not Zach Wilson, Robert Saleh, and Joe Douglas related to hit on before we wrap?
I think quietly, well, it might not have been, well, not Tittman. I think this draft is looking okay, right? I like Will McDonald. I think he's going to be fine. I like Joe Tittman. I think he's going to be fine. Which Joe Douglas really needs this draft to be okay, right? Because that, it looks like they should have got another wide receiver. When you look at
you're not loving the Zaire Barnes pick.
I forgot. I completely forgot about that pick. Yeah, I mean, right. So you need those top 2 guys to be really good. You do. And Gibson has been a nice UDFA find. Shout out to whatever area scout, found him and brought him in. He's solid, Gibson, for a UDFA. There's no denying that. He's a contributor for a UDFA. I think that's it for. I just can't. I can't say this enough. Quinnen has just been so dominant this year. It's
so good.
It's for the Jets specifically because we've seen this go the wrong way a lot. For a guy to get a massive amount of money and live up to every penny of it is a very zen feeling because the Jets. I mean, do we have to do this? Tremaine Johnson, Mo Wilkerson. I mean, they've given out some bad, embarrassing deals. And Quinnen's just all worlds, all class. He's the guy you want, to be up there on the podium and getting that payday and being a leader and everything. So it's not talked about a lot because we just expect greatness from him. But Big Q he's the anchor of this defense, and he allows Saleh and Ulbrich to do a lot of things that they wouldn't be able to do without him.
Yeah, he's such an easy guy to root for, and the sack numbers are getting there.
Shout out to Greg the Leg.
Greg the Leg.
Greg the Leg. He's quietly.
Tell me how they're not Pro Bowlers. They both have to be Pro Bowlers.
Greg the Leg is easily a top 3 kicker in the NFL, and I don't think when I bring up Greg the Leg to my non-Jets fan football coworkers or whoever. Honestly, coworkers one time, people laugh. They're oh, that's where he is. I'm he's fucking awesome. He kicks bombs every single week, no matter the wind. MetLife's a terrible stadium to kick in, by the way.
I feel happy that the Jets players finally get to not play in the pouring rain because I feel like every game they've played in this year has been in the pouring rain. So I'm glad they
it really has.
Play in some normal.
Well, hopefully it doesn't rain.
I was saying that now. It's probably going to be a monsoon, but I'm sure they're ecstatic to be getting out of MetLife, and I'm sure it's going to be raining on Christmas Eve in MetLife with how this season is done. One other nugget is is Lakin Tomlinson like okay now? Like he just kind of plays every week, and like I kind of
Because
just
he
want to like
plays.
bring him
He
back for one more year to just be the guard with AVT and Titman at center, and then worry about
there's
fixing tackles.
are they stuck with it? I'm pretty
I
sure
think so.
he has a massive cap hit
He's
next year
not
that they're
going
stuck
anywhere.
with. Yeah, that contract was not written very well. But besides that, he's not good, but he's not bad, and he plays every
We'll
week.
take
And
that the offensive line.
if the Jets had 5 guys on the offensive line that were not good but not bad and played every single week, they'd have a top 10 offensive line in football.
That's part of what I
So
like about the guy. Like he's just, I mean, he's better than
yeah,
he was last year. He's still not good, definitely, but he's always healthy and he always
I,
plays. Such
the
a no.
last nugget though that just reminded me of it. I mean, there's a big combo to have about Mekhi Becton, and why I say that is Becton's a guy that has played this year, and I think this is my take on Becton. I don't want this to be harsh because we're really happy for his comeback and everything like that. I think Becton always being hurt for so long, now that he's just out there playing, the perception of him is a little off from the fan base and a lot of people. Becton has not been good for the most part this year. He's not, once again, he's not bad. He's almost Lakin at tackle.
Yeah.
He has really awful moments in pass pro against speed, which is the problem Lakin has. But the problem I have with Becton is I can live with those, especially with Zach back there, who's very twitchy and can, when a tackle gets beat right away, Zach kind of sees it and he can move a little bit. I don't see the dominant run blocking force I saw as a rookie. And I, kind of attribute a lot of that to the injuries he's had over the years. And the whole point of Mekhi Becton is that he's one of the biggest human beings in the NFL that can just bulldoze anything in front of him. And if that part of his game is gone, I'm not saying you just let him walk because you need viable offensive linemen in this league,
Yeah.
but he's really just another guy
Yeah.
at the position, not a guy you're franchising, not a guy that like gets a 2-year, $24 million bridge deal. Like he's just a dude that plays on a 1-year, $5 million deal at tackle because I think it's really disappointing. And I do the caveat that like I feel bad. He's been hurt but at the end of the day, like you could say this, that pick is a massive miss for the New York Jets. It's a massive miss. He's not the guy that we saw for 70% of his rookie year at all.
Yeah. It's one of the dominoes, unfortunately, in what is kind of went wrong with this offensive line situation the past few years and part of what they're going to have to fix. I mean, they probably need to proactively try to find like 2 tackles. Maybe they won't. Maybe that's not realistic. They're just going to get one and they're going to bring Becton back. But even if you do that, like you need another meaningful tackle addition just from a depth perspective. I could see them on the interior being like, all right, Titman at center, Tomlinson and AVT at guard. Wes is back as a backup. One of these other random guys is back as a backup. We keep Warren as a backup tackle, maybe over Mitchell at this point.
Yeah, Mitchell.
Maybe Warren's that guy instead of him. But then, like, obviously Dwayne Brown's gone, and you're going to draft a tackle, and then you're going to get Bakhtiari or somebody else. Like,
yeah, you can't go down that road. He can't play on this turf. He can't.
No. You just I feel better if they had made 2 meaningful additions, and maybe that's not pragmatic when they also need to add a big time, starter at receiver, but it's going to be a position again that has to be addressed. And that's why I think that, for a guy like Lakin, like you can only do so much in one off season. I'm sure they're saying to themselves, like, if we can have Titman, Tomlinson, and AVT as our interior, like we could just focus on tackle and wide receiver and backup quarterback. We could maybe get everything done we need to. All right. We hit 30. Feed's going to be packed this week. So War Room Videos live. If you haven't upgraded yet, go check that out. Thursday, by the end of the week, we're going to have some type of film room, some type of draft content, Buck the Trend, the 12 pack, and then we'll have post-game party, hopefully, on Sunday. So load it up right at 2,700 patrons, which is great.
It's 1 o'clock, right?
It's 1 o'clock again. Normal schedule. 1 o'clock on Christmas Eve again. Then, of course, we're back to Thursday night football. But
oh, God.
Let's enjoy the 1 o'clocks while we have it. And let's hope we're still talking about the playoffs and a Roger return at this
in the hunt.
In the hunt. They'll be in the hunt graphic if they win, which would